Everyone's having a blessed morning. I am having a blessed morning. We here. We back with another good one. We back with another good one. We back with another good one. This is part three. This is part three. If and when you get a chance, in my discussion one, and there's part two. You can go check those videos out if you missed these videos, right? And these videos are there for what? For us to bring enlightenment to us. This is why I make these videos. And of a former individual, a former worker that used to work in the warehouse, I know exactly what your guys are going through. Guys that's moving the product. I actually work for UPS and I work for FedEx. I work for both of them. I work for both of these major companies. And I knew then when they started introducing a lot of these advanced technologies inside of the warehouse that they was going to start eliminating some jobs. They was going to start getting rid of some people, and they was going to start with the higher ups first. And then once you start with the highest up, you start eliminating those jobs because those guys that's working on the higher ups are making around maybe like 70, 80,000 a year. So all they did was eliminate them and place advanced technology. And that's exactly what they did. When they started with them, then they started working on the workers, which is going to be replaced by, robots, AI robots. And this is really, really important because it's cutting costs. It's cutting costs. And I'm going to tell you why a lot of these things are happening. It's not what you think why it's happening. Yes, it's cutting the cost of saving money. But why are they trying to save money? Why? Ask yourself why they trying to save money, right? On a lot of these major companies, why are they saving money, right? They saving money from pensions, right? Loans, layoffs, everything else. And the most important one that a lot of people don't look at is on-the-job injuries and off-the-job injuries. On-the-job injuries and off-the-job injuries, right? Where a lot of these truck drivers, right, are getting into accidents. And once they go out, they get permanent damage, and that's it. And these companies got to pay them for the rest of their lives. And a lot of these boys don't want that. That's why they replacing, because they cutting the cost. And once they start with these major companies, right? And they start with the high up first. They start with the technology first. This is what they do. And then once they start with the higher ups and bringing in the technology and computerizing everything, right then and there, they're going to start getting rid of people. The format which the company's heading in. They head into technology. They head into advanced technology. And if they're going to fire all of the people that's on a higher up and they're going to leave, right, get plank slips, they're going to start inside the warehouse first. And a lot of people, they didn't understand that they was going to start getting replaced by robots and AIs. That AIs was going to do a lot of jobs. That AIs basically was going to start moving the product, basically, and loading up the trucks. That's actually true facts. So once they do that, you're going to have the driver there. You're going to have the driver there, right? Once you have the driver there, the driver is going to navigate. Now, when the driver navigates throughout the streets, what happens? There's accidents that happens. Now you got to pay for the insurance. Now the company got to get involved. The company got sued. And what's going on is that companies are losing a lot of money by lawsuits and accidents. This is why all this stuff is going on. To be frank with you, a lot of people don't understand that, but it's still to cut the cost, to replace you. So now they're going to start activating, and it's trickling down. So UPS, throughout this year, has laid off 48,000 people. 48,000 people they laid off. Right? So now that's Amazon, right? UPS, and all of these major companies are going to start with this. And FedEx is going to start with this. FedEx been starting with this. They starting to lay people off because of the accidents, the injuries, on-the-job injuries, off-the-job injuries, the lawsuits. The company's losing more money than saving money. So this is what's going on. And they want to get rid of everybody. Yes, sure, the union is there. But once you start paying people under the table and stuff like that, giving people big checks and stuff like that, the union not going to back you. Because the union got to get paid. They got to get paid a nice big penny. And they're not going to support the workers. So all the money that you've been putting in your union dues, you're going to probably get it back. But they're not going to hold you down because the company is geared towards advanced technology. So once I know we be so busy and we can't see what's going on. We be so busy and so many hours of working and so tired that we don't get a chance to look at the news and look at what's going on. Sometimes we just go to our job. We don't look around. We don't see what's going on. We don't see the state of art of how the job is going, the new machines, the new technologies. A lot of us sometimes get lost because we chasing that paper, which is understandable. And this is why on my platform, and I know, I used to work in a warehouse. I used to work for Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola, FedEx, UPS. Yes, Amazon. I work for all of these major companies. So I know how it works. But like I said, when they start bringing this computers in and advanced computers and technology in, I knew they was going to start replacing people. Now they got cars that drive itself. Once you set the speed and these cars are motion sensor and they talk, they're going to start replacing the workers, the drivers, the operators. It's just a matter of time. So most of these drivers, truck drivers, van drivers, or CDL drivers, they switching over to MTA. They switching over to MTA because MTA has not got a board yet with AI. Now they got a board with AI for the top executives, right? Been using AI. People been, slowly by surely, not saying that they losing their job, but it start at the top first and all the way down, because once AI is introduced, that's the wrap. Do you know how many people getting injuries in MTA? How many people that's out on workers' comp, that been out, that got permanent injury and stuff like that? They losing a lot of money with accidents that's happening on the street. So that they looking at, listen, all these accidents that's going on, even though they got cameras on the bus and stuff like that, there's still accidents. The operators are going out. They losing money instead of making money. They losing money instead of making money. So I'm just letting you know that once AI starts setting in, they're going to start laying people off. They showing you and telling you what to do right there. So let me get into this this video and show you. And this ain't no joke, man. This ain't no joke. Being laid off and can't support your family and stuff like that, that's not a good look.
Announced that they've cut 48,000 jobs so far this year. That announcement made on their night. UPS has announced that they've cut 48,000 jobs so far this year. That announcement made on their quarterly call this morning. The company said their 2025 revenue is more than $21 billion. But that's partly because they've consolidated to create what they call a more efficient operating model. 14,000 workers were primarily on the management level. On top of that, they reduced their operational workforce by about 34,000 positions and closed daily operations at 93 sites.
And that's it, y'all. That's it. And that's going to start trickling down to a lot of the companies. A lot of these major companies is going to cut in operation, cutting these distributing centers and stuff like that, because they want to cut the costs on the job injuries, off the job injuries. Basically, these lawsuits is killing them. The lawsuits is killing them. Right? They losing more money. People are suing more than people in their jobs with their trucks and stuff like that, accidents and stuff like that. And this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And this is like, if you really want to say, this is why the human being is basically, is being obsolete and eliminated. It's being obsolete and eliminated and replaced by AIs. A certain group is going to be oppressed and depressed. Oppressed and depressed. Right? And they're going to try their best to eliminate these individuals. And I'm telling you straight up like this. And this is part of what? Replacing the human beings, because the human beings becoming obsolete. UPS eliminated, right, 48 jobs allegedly by advanced technology, AI, artificial intelligence. Once they start bringing these new machines in and you trying to run them, that machine's replacing you. Those machines are replacing you. You trying to run machines that's basically, yes, it needs maintenance awareness, maybe 6 months, right? And stuff like that. You plug them in to charge them up overnight. They still gonna have some human beings that's doing that, but once they figure it out, they don't want you there. They don't want you there. They don't want you there. And you gotta ask yourself, start making your way out right now. That's going to benefit you and your family and your loved ones. Start making your way out. And what you could do is start learning technology. Go back to school, take a couple of courses, and learn technology. Learn how to build houses. Learn how to modify your house. Learn how to modify your trucks. Learn how to modify your car. Learn how to modify your homes. You can do it. You can learn. You can learn. So you can add into your skills, because they always going to need a plumber. They always going to need a carpenter. They're always going to need somebody that do framework. They always going to need people that do masonry, brickwork, and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? Start to learn this. Start to get into the profession now before it's too late. Before when it hits you, and you'll be on the unemployment line. You'll be on the unemployment line. So for right now, what your guys can do, you can switch over to what? To MTA. MTA is not doing that right now. They need operators, bus operators, and train operators, because a lot of people are what? Are retiring. You understand? So we need that. They always hiring. Right? And there's going to come a time where they're going to stop. Once they get a certain number, they're going to stop. So I say I'm going to give or take about at least 15 years, 20 years from now, MTA going to change. The MTA going to change. Because it's going to become more advanced, and more advanced. Right? You still going to need people to do what? To fix those tracks. You ain't gonna put no AI to fix them tracks. And it's sort of like, it's real good, because you know why? Because they still running under the old system. MTA still saving jobs. You feel me? They're not gonna get, I don't think they're gonna get no computers or anything like that to be running no trains, man. They not gonna jeopardize that. They're gonna take the hit. So I recommend that you transfer over to MTA, which is hiring. It's up in the air, but still do what? Still make an outgain for yourself and for your family and your loved ones. And this is just what? Advice. This all this is. This is all it is, because remember, I used to work inside a warehouse. And like I said, when they started introducing a lot of these machines, advanced machines and technologies, you knew that somebody's job was going to be replaced because the company has the money to buy the machines. And there's certain companies that don't have the money to buy the machines, right? And there's certain companies that do what? That put half of the money up and borrow those machines. And borrow them. It may take 5 years, 10 years, the machines. And when they do that, they may have one person that operating the machine and 5 other people be laid off. 5 other people be laid off. I'm just saying, have an out game. Do not stay there. Have an out game. I know you probably been there for 10 years and 8 years. Have an out game because everybody can be replaced. Do you understand that? Everybody can be replaced based on a human being. Based on a human being. That's how human beings feel. Right? The Alpha Omega, the creator and everything in existence don't feel that way. He don't feel that human beings need to be replaced. You understand that? He still work with us. He still love us. We are his creation. This is why it's important to what? To worship the Alpha Omega, the creator and everything in existence. That's why it's really, really important, And I want to add into this right here. Mental health matters. Mental health, it matters. It definitely matters, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen. Mental health matters, right? So I just want to drop that on your guys. I know how your guys is about to go to work. And I appreciate it. I love and thank you so much.